Yes, motherfucker, it's time for the Gaudies. You little bitch. That's right, you son of a bitch. Listen to the Gaudy Stats podcast. The Gaudies are an end of the year award show on the Gaudy Stats pod. Yeah, listen to it right now, you son of a bitch. Fuck you. Gaudy Stats, it's the Gaudies. Gaudy Stats, it's the motherfucking Gaudy Stats, stats all the time. You better like them, louder stats here now. Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah. Fuck you. Yeah. Motherfucker, eat a dick. Oh yeah.
It's the Gaudies.
Wow, what a reception. Thank you. Thousands of people, thousands of human beings clapping. Hey, thank you, but guys, shut the fuck up now, okay? We got to start the show. Thank you so much. This is the first annual Gaudies, the Gaudy Stats End of the Year Fantasy Football Stats Awards. I'm trying to enunciate to make it clear. You're listening to a historical document. It cannot be overstated how important this moment is in human history. So, without further ado, let's get to it.
The Eric Dickerson Golden Goggles Rookie Award.
I don't take this award lightly. I want to give it to the most deserving player. And I think there were quite a few individuals that were definitely worthy of this award. And it's really tugging at my heart to go one way or the other on this one. But I think at the end of the day, I had to give the Golden Goggles Award to Mr. Baker Mayfield, quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. I think for as much as Saquon did, and he did, amazing stuff, I think you got to look at the 0-16 Cleveland Browns, their soul, their lifeless body on the pavement. And here you have a guardian angel picking them up, and he breaking records in the process. And he has become, without doubt, the best rookie QB in the NFL. And I think because the importance of the position, QB trumps running back, that you have to give it to Baker Mayfield. And watch out for 2019 because he's going to be on fire. The Mayfield-Mahomes rivalry is about to start in earnest 2019.
Wow. Wow. Sam, you called it. Samuel, you called it. Kemp was going to pick Baker Mayfield. You hit it right in the head.
Yeah. You have to. It's one of those obvious, at the end of the day, it's one of those obvious picks there.
Yeah. It's just about white for you.
What? What?
That's good. That's biting.
What did I say? I said it was just about right.
No.
Yeah, he said just about right. Just about
said it was
right.
about right for you because you value quarterback position. I get it. You know.
No.
Samuel, I think I know who you're going to choose.
I'm offended by the implication there, Sam.
You know what, Simmons? I'm gonna let you run with Saquon Barkley. Let me just go with a guy who didn't get to necessarily show his skill set for the entire season. In fact, really the first 6 games, he essentially was in a reduced role. Now, I would give the Golden Goggles personally to Saquon Barkley. I'm going to give an honorable mention Golden Goggles. I'll give some bronze goggles, let's say, or some silver goggles to Mr. Nicholas Chubb. Nicholas Chubb essentially started.
That's a really good pick.
That's a great pick.
Sam.
Thank you.
You mind
if I finish now, or do you want to take this one?
I'll take it from here. So Nick Chubb, was this. What a great pick by Sam here. I don't know, Sam, if you want to come in here.
They're playing you off. No, I'm kidding, but come on, Kim. You got to concede the floor to Samuel here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
yeah, no.
996 yards rushing.
Yeah,
8
10 games.
touchdowns.
So if you prorate that,
receiving
I mean, he did have 105 yards rushing. By the way, can we just go ahead and bake in the Jerome Bettis? I'll just go ahead and throw that in. We'll get to it later, but I have unintentionally found it. September 30th, gentlemen, 45-42 overtime loss to the Raiders. Nick Chubb, 3 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. That right there is the definition of a stupid line. Back to Nick Chubb, though, with the goggles. He essentially had 5 games where he had 25 yards or less because he wasn't getting any touches. If you put those games in, 996, Saquon Barkley gets 1307 ultimately. That would mean that, if Chubb had gotten 311 in those, or 312 yards in those games he didn't start, he would have had more rushing yards than Barkley. Just a very promising running back. Definitely nowhere near the receiving threat that Saquon Barkley is, which is why he can't quite have the golden goggles. But you know,
I think let's not eliminate Nick Chubb as a receiving threat, though. I think he surprised many being a receiving threat this year.
I'm not eliminating him by any means. I'm just saying for 2018, he certainly wasn't the same caliber. But you know, I will say, guys, I liked Sony Michel, of those 2 Georgia backs. I liked Michel more than Chubb coming into the year, and I think I have to, at least for year one, admit defeat on that, because I think by mid-November, late November, even when Michel was back from injury, it was clear, if you had to start one or the other in DFS most weeks, you would be wanting to start Nick Chubb. So give me Chubb for the silver or the bronze goggles, and someone who I think is really going to generate a lot of buzz with the new Freddie Kitchens offense, or I guess the old Freddie Kitchens offense in 2019.
Love it. You could also throw in Philip Lindsay in there, possibly.
Yes, absolutely.
1,000 yards, came out of nowhere, but we'll get into him later. We talked about it. Saquon Barkley, man. Oh God, almost like a body type, almost like a bigger Barry Sanders. Those thick thighs like tree trunks, just churning up yardage. He finished with over 2,000 total yards, 1,300 rushing for 11 touchdowns, 91 catches for 721 yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. Oh my goodness, what else can we say? I mean, he was playing on a pretty bad team. I think that's fair to say. They had some flashes of brilliance here and there, but offensive line wasn't always creating room for him, was not always creating holes. He just pounded through those holes, the tiny amounts of daylight that were there. He got that yardage. He had one game where he caught 14 balls. So that was kind of, I'm not sure that's necessarily him playing great. It was more by necessity because Eli was checking the ball down constantly, but going to be the rookie of the year, and he's going to go extremely high next year in fantasy drafts.
Did you have a favorite?
I think he hit 100 yards, 100 total yards, like every game except for like 3, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 or 3. Like he went nuts.
I'm looking now. I'll give it. Let's see. I'm going game by game here. At the Falcons, he didn't.
The amazing thing about Barkley,
I think it's all but 2.
I think in the last few games,
it's all but 3.
All but 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Do you have a favorite Barkley line, Simmons?
Yes. So there's multiple ones here that I think it's going to have.
I don't want to step on it for the later, but if you don't have it for later, I'm wondering if there's one.
No, that's fine. I'll give you one now that I really liked. It's all good. I'll give you one now that I like. It was at home versus Philadelphia, 13 carries for 130 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
For a long
That's the one I was looking for.
And then he had 9 catches, 99 yards.
Yep. I was against Mike and Dan that week when they had him. Just watching him just tear me limb from limb.
Oh God!
Tear up one of the best run defenses in the league. And the thing about the Saquon was all the hype he got coming into the year was like off the charts. I mean, it was almost Adrian Peterson-esque the way he was getting hyped up. So you're always thinking in the back of your mind, is this guy kind of jumping the shark as far as like is he gonna live up to how much billing that he's been getting lately? And he did everything and more. Like he did everything that you would want a rookie to do.
We talked about that, by the way, in the middle of the year at some point, Kemp, where when you consider the expectations and the fact that he was playing in New York and that he was the second overall pick and that he was a fantasy first rounder sight unseen, I mean, it really is just impressive as hell, the kind of season he had.
He never got hurt. He never got hurt either. Crazy.
And
we'll see about next year though. He took a lot of pounding this year.
Don't jinx us.
Our condolences to Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. He's gonna break his femur next year, but that's fine.
and Sam knows how much I am on the record on like just hating drafting running backs, especially in the first round of the actual NFL draft, especially as high as Saquon went and Leonard Fournette went, yada yada yada. This is one of the only picks where I'm like, I'm right on that fence as saying, well, maybe it's okay. I guess I can justify this pick at second overall because he is that good. He is that good of a player. Now we'll see, because if the Giants don't get a quality quarterback in this year's draft, I think I will say that they were stupid for drafting Saquon Barkley, even though he is a great talent. But all that being said,
they're probably
I'm
either
right
going
on
to get
the
Dwayne
fence.
Haskins or Kyler Murray.
Yeah, with Kyler Murray, they probably will get one or the other now, unless two teams jump ahead of them. But now that Kyler Murray has declared, they probably will.
Are you ready for those? I was going to say, are you ready for those Kyler Murray Mahomes comparisons? Because they're coming. Get ready.
I'm hoping Kyler Murray slips a little bit so that the Patriots can pick him up.
I don't think that's going to happen, but I think it could.
Well, dude,
they have the Patriots have their QB of the future already. Tom Brady.
Danny Etling?
No, Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
He's adapted his body to be able to take hits.
James Devlin is going to launch the ball forward with a shovel as quarterback.
He is blue collar. That's a damn sure.
Yeah.
The Braylon Edwards Don't Take the Bait trophy.
Now this is awarded to a player that had a great year, had the kind of like a storybook year, but we're a little leery about their forecast, their fantasy forecast for next year. Now,
Don't take the bait. They're going to disappoint next year, guys.
Yeah, so I was thinking about who I'm going to pick for this, but Sam, do you have anybody you're thinking about for this award?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple directions you could go here. The route that I ended up taking for the Don't Take the Bait award for 2018, or I guess really for 2019, is a guy who I think overperformed as a rookie, and so maybe he's going to be a victim of his own success and of expectations, but I'm giving this award to Calvin Ridley. So Calvin Ridley finishes the year with 64 catches, 821 yards, 10 touchdowns. Guys, I'm looking at this, and it's not like he faded, really. He had, you go from week 13 on, 8 for 93 and a touchdown, 3 for 22, okay, not as good. 1 for 10, not as good. 5 for 42, okay. But then the last 2 weeks, 3 for 90 and a touchdown, and then 5 for 32 and a touchdown. Yeah. I think this is a case for me about just not liking the talent. I didn't like Ridley very much out of college. I think this is someone who is going to show up maybe in the low 20s. That is maybe 20 to 23, 24 next year. Someone who could be a back-end wide receiver too, according to the ranks. If I had to guess right now, that is not the kind of guy that I think, not the kind of receiver that I think that Calvin Ridley is. I think that he's buoyed by the fact that he had 2 games in September where he had 5 total touchdowns, one against the Saints, 7 for 146 and 3, and that outrageous
That's crazy.
43-37 game against the Saints, and then against the Bengals in a 37-36 loss at home, 4 catches, 54 and 2. So these are just numbers that I just think he's not the kind of player who can replicate the touchdowns. Nice player, a guy that the Falcons I think will benefit from having. Definitely not overdrafted at number 26 necessarily in the actual draft, but someone who I think is just not going to be a major fantasy presence the way that people might think he will be in 2019.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got
That's
a
a good one.
ceiling to him. He is, Marvin Jones-esque, and as far as
Interesting. Yeah.
what
I can
his
see that.
ceiling could possibly be. I mean, there is definitely a cap to him. But I think that is a good choice with Calvin Ridley. I'm kind of with the same sentiments as you, Sam. That he just wasn't my favorite. He wasn't.
I don't know how I should feel about that.
Yeah, he wasn't popping wood for me. And when he
Okay.
went drafted in the first round, my jaw kind of dropped. I think he does have touchdown upside, but he's not going to be anywhere close the payback of where he gets drafted next year. But with that being said, you are missing the obvious choice here, Samuel. Because the obvious choice for 2018 is one James White. This guy falls to the wall this year.
Tell me about this guy, Coach Gruden.
What?
I said, tell me about this guy, Coach Gruden.
This is a guy. All right. This is a guy.
Gruden's grinder.
All right?
James White.
Nuts this year, especially, but you also got to look at his situation. I mean, yes, he did go nuts in the first 6 games or 8 games, what have you. But look at what had to happen in order for him to get to there. All right. The Patriots preseason had Jeremy Hill. They had Sony Michel. They had Rex Burkhead. And they had the other guy that they got from Buffalo. They had 3 touchdowns the year before in the very first game versus Kansas City. Why am I messing on this name? There you go, Mike Gillislee. They had all these guys. Gillislee gets hurt, gets cut. Jeremy Hill tears his ACL. Rex Burkhead gets hurt. And then Sony Michel gets hurt. So, they have James White and nobody else. So you're looking at just situational that James White's right there to produce for him. And yes, he does a fantastic job, but how many seasons is something like that going to happen where you have these string of events of injuries that occur that propel him to be put in a spot where he can succeed the way he did. And then the second Rex Burkhead comes back and Sony Michel is healthy, you immediately start to see James White's production trickle, slow down to a trickle. So, I mean, trickle. It trickles. So I would be very cautious at drafting him next year. Don't take the bait.
No, I think it's a good one, actually. It's the kind of guy that I look at and I salivate over him because of all the receptions and everything. But you make a good point. Opportunity.
Is that a function of the talent or the fact that it's the Patriots or both?
I think it's the Patriots.
I don't think he's that talented, to be honest. I think he's good.
Do we all agree he's definitely not as talented as Dion Lewis? Do we agree with that?
Yes. I would agree.
I think I would say so, but you know what? I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but Dion's
you had Dion Lewis, didn't you? Yeah.
Dion's performance this year was really discouraging, but they didn't use him properly. They should have force-fed him targets. Whenever they ran
sounds like a future award.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be up for an Aaron Rodgers award.
That's not what I meant.
It might be.
But James White had 87 catches, 123 targets. I mean, that Kim's right. That is based on the opportunity he had. He was kind of thrust into that feature role, and Brady, from what I remember, Brady wanted him in that role, and actually, I think the offense performed better with him in that role, but they choose to put in Rex Burkhead and mess up with James White's rhythm and kind of stalls the offense. But I'm not a Patriots fan. I don't care. I actually take a little pleasure when they make mistakes like that.
Come on. Yeah. The music. Start the music on this. Come on. This pontificating from you.
All right, so I got to get to my guy though. Really fast.
My guy.
It's my guy, huh? Hey, it's my guy. This is a little bit of a I don't know. This is a little bit of a controversial pick here, but I'm a little concerned about Melvin Gordon, just overall.
Wow.
What?
Did you see how he ended the season? He was banged up. He was banged up. Okay. I feel like he's constantly like. He's like either just been injured or he gets injured and he comes back in and he's got he has to come back out. I feel like his I wouldn't call him injury prone. I think that label was thrust upon him at one point. I think it was a little unfair. I think he played all the games last season, but this season he ended the year really. He still had some decent games, but not as strong as he was earlier in the year. I don't know, man. I just feel like he's going to go super high again next year. I don't want to draft him. I know we did a mock draft earlier, last month, and I drafted him kind of high. But I'm going back on that. I don't want to touch Melvin Gordon. I'm afraid he's going to get injured. I think the presence of Austin Eckler or another receiving back is going to always be there. I think he's going to get injured again. I think he's just the way the physical style that he runs. I don't. This might not be the perfect example for this award, but I just don't want any part of him next year.
Well, hold on, because Melvin Gordon's coming up here to accept the award right now, and I'm telling you, Melvin, sit back down. I'm throwing the yellow flag on this.
No, Melvin, come on up.
Sit down, Melvin. Sit down. You're not taking this award. I'm going to have to disagree with you on this.
That's fine.
One.
Hey, embrace debate.
Ben. I think Melvin got hurt. It happens. But he had 12 TDs and
look at the way he ended the year, though. Look the way he ended the year.
But he was injured.
18 for 69, 10 for 61, 12 for 41, 10 for 42, 17 for 40. I know he was injured, but I'm just saying, I feel like he gets run into the ground. He finishes every year. I feel like not as strong as he began the year. I just don't know if he's long for this league in terms of I just don't know if he's going to have a bunch of other good seasons. I guess
I will say his knees are bone on bone, whatever that means.
Yeah,
he's kind of a slight player. But I will say, to quote Owen Wilson with that pick, Simmons, wow. Wow.
I love it. No, I knew it would be controversial.
No, but I like it.
Even last year, he fell off. His yards per carry has not always been great. Even last year, he finished the whole season with 3.89 yards per carry. I mean, he's kind of a grinder, and his value is based a lot on his opportunity, which I know is a huge part of fantasy. But I don't know. I had a bad. It's really a gut feeling, honestly. I have to admit the stats don't totally back it up, but it's a gut feeling, and I gotta go with my gut.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah. This is going to be one of those referees huddling up here to decide whether Melvin Gordon gets this award or not. We'll do this after the show. But
that's fine. The judges are converging right now. They're trying to decide whether to allow that or not. That's
after
fine.
review.
But hey, Simmons, instead of Kim staring into the little screen in the booth, he's going to be staring into his front window because he's been locked out of the house by his family. He's just staring in, looking in.
He's in his wine cellar.
I got to do the Gaudies, okay?
the Jerome Bettis 3 carries for 3 yards and 3 touchdowns Weirdest Stat Line Award.
Kind of gaudy and just disgusting and makes you want to vomit all over yourself, but also smile at the same time.
Yes.
This next award will do that to you, gentlemen. It is.
I just heard I heard my brand. Someone just signaled my brand.
the Jerome Bettis 3 carries for 3 yards and 3 touchdowns Weirdest Stat Line Award. Now, this was born from a magical game that occurred on, let's see, it was September 12th, 2004, when Jerome Bettis, he ran 5 times for 1 yard, and he scored 3 touchdowns. Now, that's just one example of many weird stat lines. Samuel, what do you got for us here?
So, listen, I mean, I have to go back. If I'm giving it, so let me give 2 parts of it. First of all, if I'm giving it to a single game, I'm giving it to Nick Chubb for 3 carries for 105 and 2. Now that's not gross in the same way that,
insane.
But it's just outrageous. Now if I'm giving it, I'm going to give this a season-long award to John Ross of the Bengals. Now John Ross, gentlemen, he has 21 catches and 210 yards, and you're like, oh, okay, that's a nice 3-week stretch for Julio Jones or DeAndre Hopkins, right? That's fine.
Maybe one game for Julio Jones.
Yeah, maybe 1 game for Julio Jones, right? 7 touchdowns to accompany those 21 catches and 210 yards, gentlemen. 7 touchdowns.
I'm feeling sick in my stomach.
Full 1/3 of his
absolutely
catches were touchdowns.
Yeah.
And
if I could give an honorary, if I was going to say, if I could go ahead and give a slightly honorary to this disgusting award, I just want to go ahead. Guys, there's a guy out there, and he actually ended the year with 23 carries, okay, for 35 yards and 2 touchdowns, which
disgusting.
is just abysmal, right? I mean, just
filthy.
Get this guy out of the league, right? Now that guy who will receive the honorary Bettis 333 or the 513 is Tom Brady on the New England Patriots. So congrats to Tom.
Wow.
Cue applause.
Let me push back on you on that, because I mean you got to realize that a lot of those were him taking a knee, so that kind of counts against that, and plus he won for 1,000 yards this year. So I mean,
I will say a better line than that is Drew Brees had 31 carries for 22 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's pretty good.
Wow.
Because that's the thing. In the NFL, no, sacks don't count as lost rushing yards, do they? No, they don't. So how do you have 31 carries for 20? Drew Brees averaged 0.7 yards a carry and he had 4 touchdowns.
Well, he had 2 touchdowns against Atlanta, right? He had those 2 random
the spin move.
But he's like the master of of jumping over the line, putting the ball out, and then bringing it back, and then crouching into a little ball.
Yeah,
so that's like his classic move.
You want to hear this? Dan Marino, in his 17-year career, had 87 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Wow.
87 yards. That is pathetic.
I'm surprised it's that much. Camp, I would love to see a supercut of all of Tom Brady's runs. I think that would be so exciting. See every single one of his runs. Wouldn't you? I don't
get it. How can you have 87 yards rushing for an entire career? You got to think he was what? Did he never run?
I think he was probably just kneeling a lot. I guess. I don't know.
I mean, he was an extremely prolific passing quarterback.
In 1985, which was in 1985 is year he went to the Super Bowl. Was that
84?
84. Okay. 84. Well, he had -7 yards rushing that year. So maybe he was just kneeling the entire time, or negative 24 the year before after that. I think that's
stiff
wild.
legs, though. He had stiff legs. He couldn't really run. He kind of ran like he had 2 peg legs. I don't know if you ever saw him run. It was a little weird. He couldn't bend his knees.
Stiff hips.
Kempster, do you have anybody for this award? You have anybody you would nominate or award this award to? Not nominate.
Well, if we're gonna go into the spirit of Jerome Bettis, I mean, nobody matches the one 3 carries, 3 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Like, that is untouchable. But I do think, and Sam was hitting on this. I believe this was pregame, but James Devlin, when we look at his game against, when you look at it for his, can I talk here? If we look at his game versus Minnesota, what did he have? He had 2 touchdowns for 9 yards, 4 carries for 5 yards and 2 touchdowns. So
that's very Bettis-like.
I mean, if we want to go the Bettis route, that there's nothing that touches that for James Devlin. I mean, this was a hard award category to.
It is. You just took mine, so.
Yeah, I mean,
Can I do a quick over under for you? Okay?
Sure, yeah. Hit me.
99.5. Okay, over under. The line is 99.5. Number of hungry man meals James Devlin has eaten in his life.
Oh, I'd say clear. That's over, man. I'm gonna pound that.
Way over.
Way over.
No, he's dining at like McCormick and Schmick's. He looks like a fine dining establishment guy. Yes, McCormick and Schmick's is a fine dining establishment.
Okay.
I don't know.
According to Mike Francesa.
He looks like a cultured individual for me.
A little bias there.
James Rittenhouse.
Honorable mention is Buck Allen for me. He had some games at the beginning of the year that were just mildly Jerome Bettis-like. September 23rd, 6 carries, 7 yards, 1 touchdown. Then he had 3 catches for 19 yards and a touchdown, which is basically, if you saw that output, you'd be like, oh, Buck Allen, I should pick him up. But it's just gross. He had 1.2 yards per carry. It's disgusting. It makes me want to throw up. And then against Cincinnati, September 13th, he was 6 for 8 with 1 touchdown. I mean, come on, man. That's 1.3 yards per carry. It's disgusting. But, yeah, you guys took the 2 best ones, so I'm going to round it out with that one. Let's go on to the next award.
The Peyton Hillis White Elephant Out of Nowhere Honor.
I'm going to start this one out with a slight diminutive runner by the name of Philip Lindsay, who ran with such ferocity that he replaced a high draft pick that Kemp is in love with. Obsessed, actually, I would say. Would like to marry, sits out in front of his house.
Well,
he stalks him. Royce Freeman. He beat out Royce Freeman for the number 1 running back position.
Timeshare. It was a timeshare.
It was a timeshare, but then it was kind of like, 75% Philip Lindsay, 25% Royce Freeman. Sorry, I'm being a little cruel. I don't mean to be that way, but no, I mean, he had 1,000 yards rushing as a rookie. He really fell off at the end of the year. I don't know if it was the rookie wall or maybe it was the offensive line. He really fell off, but he got hurt too. He broke his hand, which it's going to take a while for that to heal. But I think he'll be ready for next year. But yeah, he had. Let's see. He had, I believe, he had 10 total touchdowns, 1,037 yards, 35 receptions, and 241 receiving yards. So that's, it's not like an eye-popping, gaudy line, but it's pretty good for a rookie in his first season. Samuel, Anybody?
Kemp, you got one, or
Anybody?
is it me?
Or one of you guys? Yeah, either one of you guys.
I'll
Just jump
let
in.
Sam go first. I got my kids here wanting something from me, so I'm
Okay.
I'm glad you guys on mute. Kind of sorry, audience. We've got an emergency.
Ooh.
Sorry, I'll be right back. Get your hands off that, you dump. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna continue the theme of and by the way, not that there's anything wrong with this theme at all, but I'm gonna continue the theme of picking someone who we actually had on our own team, because Philip Lindsay did very well for you, Simmons, and I'm gonna go with a second-year tight end out of Iowa.
Big spanking.
What?
So, what? Go on.
What?
I'm back.
Wow. Should we cut to commercial? Or should we cut to commercial? What should we do here?
What did he say?
He's disrupting the show. Sam, go ahead. Continue.
What did he say? I didn't even hear what he said.
I don't know what he said either. But
yeah, no. I was just telling my kids to go upstairs.
We'll cut this part out.
Dearly, go upstairs, mate.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going with George Kittle, Niners tight end.
Ooh,
sets the record.
Very good one.
Sets the all-time single-season receiving yardage record for a tight end. Let's play a game here, gentlemen. Ready?
Nick
More
Mullins.
fantasy points in our scoring system for the year. Ready? Let's play a game. George Kittle or T.Y. Hilton?
Kittle.
Kittle would be right. George Kittle or Brandon Cooks?
Kittle.
Kittle would be right again. George Kittle or Keenan Allen?
Ooh. I'm going to stick with Kittle because Keenan Allen.
For a fact.
What did you say, Kemp?
I think it's Kittle. I said I knew it for a fact, but I believe because.
So it is Kittle by a half a point.
Wow.
They're basically right even. But so, look, I mean, 3/4 of that year comes without Garoppolo, but just a lot of long touchdowns. $2 in the draft. Obviously, never dreamt he could have had that sort of upside, but just an amazing season. And really, for the top of the tight end class this year, guys, just amazing overall. Let me ask you while I'm doing trivia with us here. So the leading point getter from tight ends was Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce had 103 catches, 1,336 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was good for 243.1 points on the year. What number, if you grouped him with receivers, what number receiver would he be overall if you had put tight ends or receivers together?
Oh, God, I really want to look, but I bet he's like in the top 5, honestly. I'm just guessing. I'm not looking. I'm guessing.
I'd go there. I'd go top 5 on that because I believe the top one was probably Tyreek Hill.
It was Tyreek Hill.
Like
you're right. Tyreek Hill by a good. No, Tyreek Hill had 303.42.
Okay, so he was the only one with 300.
He's actually not. He's not top 5, but he is top 10. It would be the wide receiver 9, ahead of Juju Smith-Schuster. Kelce had more points than Juju Smith-Schuster. For what it's worth, Zach Ertz would have been the wide receiver 12. Ahead of Tyler Lockett, ahead of Stephon Diggs, ahead of Keenan Allen, ahead of George Kittle. So just a banner year for these tight ends at the top of the list. But yeah, Kittle gets my my Peyton Hillis White Elephant for 2018.
Yeah,
I think that's actually a really good pick.
It's a good one. And the White Elephant, you could probably find him like rumbling and stumbling in like the Nebraska wilderness somewhere. Talking about Peyton Hillis. He's out there somewhere still running. That lovable White Elephant.
He begs the question though, is he out there hunting wild boar, or are there humans out there hunting him?
I think he's blurring the lines between hunter and
we don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
What a beast.
We may
What a
never
beast.
know.
Yeah, he's a majestical creature. Kempster, who do you have for this? Do you have anybody? We can also move on to the next award.
No, so actually, so I thought this award was kind of going a different direction of a guy who everybody was down on, but then kind of came out of nowhere to surprise everybody. So I originally picked Brandon Cooks. I got a little snickering, jeering, laughing at from all ranks at this. How could I misinterpret this? But I would like to shout out Brandon Cooks and just say, I was down on him this year. I didn't think he would come anywhere near to what he did in New Orleans or the 1 year in New England. But man, I mean, he showed up again. So props to Brandon Cooks. But the white elephant in the room, I'm going to have to give it to Eric Ebron. I think this is another one of those,
that is good.
Tight ends.
Yeah, that's a very good
another one based on circumstance. Because you could also give this award to Eric Ebron as Braylon Edwards. Don't believe the hype. Because I think he kind of fits in that mold too. Because once Jack Doyle gets back, is he going to repeat what he did? Adley, do not put the marker back down. But when losing my train of thought, Eric Ebron, touchdown machine. Andrew Luck was looking for him anytime they were coming through the red zone, and
no Jack Doyle.
Yeah, with no Jack Doyle, which also depressed his value because Jack Doyle was always on his way back. He was about a week away from coming back, and then when he did come back, then he gets injured. So this was another one where I think he really surprised people. I got him in the trade of the century, and yet still somehow my team got ruined for it. But yeah, Eric Ebron, come up and accept your award.
I wouldn't say exactly. It might be the flagship award for the Gaudies, the first annual Gaudy Stats Awards.
Waterbug of the Year.
Now, we've talked about it. We've conferred about this, and there's really only one Waterbug we can choose for this award this year. It was Christian McCaffrey. The man had 100 catches, over 1,000 yards, only one of 3 players to do that, other 2 being LT and Matt Forte. He exceeded all expectations. He played like 90 in the high 90s percentages of snaps. He was incredible. Do you guys want to add anything? He's been talked about ad nauseum.
Who are we talking about?
Christian McCaffrey.
Oh God!
I mean,
man,
a Waterbug who turned into an every down back, basically. It's almost unprecedented. He was durable.
Would you say he's the white pick or the wrong pick?
Oh, he's definitely the. I think he's the white pick.
The what?
Right
I said the right. I said the right pick.
Right pick. That's what I said.
Yeah, he was just awesome. I mean, we talked about
consistency
in the off season that the Panthers didn't quite know how to use him, and it seemed like this year they really it wasn't just that the light bulb went on, like it went on, full brightness, basically. I didn't word that very well, but you get my idea, right? Like it was blinding, like 100,000 watts or whatever you would want to say.
It's like looking into the sun.
It's like staring directly at the sun for over an hour, in the words of Will Ferrell's Harry Carey character. I want to offer an honorable mention to, and maybe a bug to watch for the future for Tariq Cohen.
Oh yes, I was hoping one of you guys would talk about him.
Yeah, he definitely a he's certainly in the stream. He's definitely a bug. He's in the stream. He's kind of, sort of just making his way around that stream, jumping from sort of maybe pad to pad. I guess that just made him into a frog. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Well,
What a frog.
McCaffrey kind of like he evolved into a frog. He started out being a little
did,
bug.
That's true. He was a tadpole. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a tadpole, and
I mean, Kamara. We talked about Kamara. He's not a true water bug, but he's kind of. I would say he's in the same species. But McCaffrey has turned into basically an every down back, partially because, well, you could say more than partially because of Norv Turner's. He loves to feature one guy. Goes back to Emmitt Smith, LT, Clinton Portis, I believe. He just likes to feature one guy, and McCaffrey really benefited from that. Sure.
Absolutely. If I could read,
but you also got to look that they had
McCaffrey
C.J. Anderson there, and he just took C.J. Anderson's job. So I mean, this isn't just him wanting to have one back. Like he took C.J. Anderson's job.
Well, I was just saying my favorite McCaffrey game. My favorite McCaffrey game where I was actually against him that week. A home loss to the Seahawks in Week 12, 17 carries, 125 yards and a touchdown, 11 receptions on 11 targets, 112 and a touchdown, 237 yards from scrimmage, 28 touches, 2 touchdowns.
That's
fumbles, three fumbles, none of them lost.
Yeah, that's a great little detail there. That was my single game Gaudy stat performance right there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I?
No.
Shit, I'm sorry.
No. We might as well get into it now. We can break off for a second and talk about that.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't take long. I mean, you just mentioned it, and I'm just gonna co-sign it because, I mean, that's just the amount of touches there, like 28 touches. He caught all 11 of his targets.
Yep.
For 112 yards and a touchdown, which is incredible.
Yep.
He had some other gems too. I had him, so I'm extremely biased. And he started out the year, the first 3 games, he had no touchdowns. Then he just started rattling off touchdowns.
And by the way, a lot of times, if a running back catches 11, has 11 targets and has 11 receptions, it's going to be that kind of 11 for 70 or something, right?
Yeah.
11 for 112 is over 10 yards a catch.
Yeah.
That means every time he was catching the ball, in addition to all those carries, he was getting near or at the equivalent of a first down. I mean, just that was an amazing performance. Unfortunately,
and you just not toot my own horn here, but I remember saying at the beginning of the year how I liked him as a better receiver out of the backfield than Alvin Kamara. I was scoffed at by everybody.
Well, you were scoffed at because you called Alvin Kamara. You were scoffed at because you called Alvin Kamara the third at best receiving back in the NFL, which at the time, before Ingram came back.
Who else would I put? Because I put McCaffrey ahead of Kamara.
You put Saquon ahead of him.
I don't think I put Saquon.
We can go ahead and check
I
on that.
I could actually say that. I could see that though.
Actually, we can
Kamara. But anyways,
okay, so you denied it. You denied it, and then you owned it. Is that what happened just now?
Well, I know, but if you want me to, I will take Barkley over Kamara.
But let me ask you, in all seriousness, though, would you still say that next year if Mark Ingram is not on the Saints? Because we know that's.
I mean, he's not.
And I don't think he will be either.
He's gonna be a free agent, right?
Yeah, God, Mark Ingram on the Raiders is going to be so awful.
Oh God,
it's going to depress the hell out of me.
Yeah, well, if he was smart, he would re-sign with the Saints.
It's true.
Yeah, but if he wants to get paid, what if the Saints win the Super Bowl and he's just like, okay, well, it's never going to get better than this with this team.
It's true. He doesn't
give him $30 million.
You know, I'm gonna have to let me look at Alvin Kamara's stats because I don't know. I just feel like he kind of like trailed off at the end of the season there
This
this
is
year.
literally what we're saying, though. Remember, you're it's what I'm talking about. My question
he
to
had
you
a
was,
Over
huge
him
first
over
4
if
weeks.
if Mark Ingram's not there,
yes,
because man, he did
look
some
at his first month.
nasty
Go ahead and
things in
look.
the first 4 games.
2004 Bengals versus Browns Point Gush Memorial Award.
This was one of the greatest games in the regular season. KC and LA and the origins of this award go back to November the 28th, 2004. I think we all know exactly where we were when you had the Bengals versus the Browns. You had Carson Palmer on one side, Kelly Holcomb, the mighty Kelly Holcomb on the other.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Yes, this was a shootout of titans here. 58
Yeah.
to 48. The 5-6 Bengals versus the 3-8 Browns.
Yes.
And if you had anybody
God, I'm looking
starting
at this box score.
at
It's
this
so
game,
good.
you got buku points.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelly Holcomb had
Oh,
413 yards, 5 TDs, and this is in 2004, people. We got to get in that 2004 mindset. 413 yards came about once in a blue moon. 400 plus passing yards.
But now, can we give a little time to the clear best line of this entire game?
Please, let's do it.
May I?
And I think I know exactly where you're going here.
Steve Hayden.
Oh, yes.
Steve Hayden.
I actually thought you were going somewhere else.
7 catches, 82 yards, 3 touchdowns.
And
Steve Hayden.
Everybody had him in their lineups, I'm sure. Steve Hayden.
Yeah.
And don't forget Rudy Johnson.
I remember I actually had to hire a small child in Atlanta to field the calls that I was getting for Hayden that year. You guys would not stop calling my flip phone. You're calling the Razor. I need Hayden. I'll trade you Mawelde Moore for Hayden.
Did you have him on your roster?
Who, Hayden?
Yeah.
No, fuck no. Come on.
Wow.
Antonio Bryant, 8 for 131 and 2.
That's
Rudy
the other
Johnson,
one I was looking at, yeah.
26 carries, 202 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Just a bonanza.
This was the game of the ages.
The combination of volume of passing, like you think, like, you look at Holcomb's line and he has 413 passing yards, and you're like, okay, if that guy has 430, if one of the quarterbacks has 400 plus passing yards, there's no way that a running back on either team can have over 200 yards rushing. But alas, that is what happened.
Oh, God. Okay, so this is a quick aside, but you remember how we were talking about disgusting stat lines earlier? How do we not think of, speaking of 400-yard passing days, remember when, what is his name? Fitzmagic had 400 yards of passing, and he had no touchdowns and like 4 interceptions or something earlier this year. That should have been one of the disgusting.
Hold on, I'm gonna look that up right now just so we have.
Yeah, but anyways, this game was insane. Also, Chad Johnson, 10 for 117 and a touchdown. T.J. Houshmandzadeh, 4 for 79 and 2 touchdowns. Just unreal.
Yeah,
you're right, Ken. Stats aplenty.
Oh, it was great. It was
just
great.
So
it was great to have this award be honored, to honor the Chiefs and the Rams this year, which was another game loaded with stats. If you started a player in the Chiefs Rams game, you were getting buku points. Patrick
54 to 51.
Patrick Mahomes did his best Kelly Holcomb impression. Got over 400 yards, 5 TDs, and 6 TDs.
Many people are saying, you hear it more and more, that Patrick Mahomes is a young Kelly Holcomb.
Yeah. He's being molded in the shadows by Kelly. I think that's his muse, especially on that night.
Samuel, did you find that game I was talking about with Fitzmagic?
Oh yeah, I did. I'm sorry, I did. He played the Redskins at home. He played the Redskins at home. He lost 16-3. Hold on, it's loading again. He lost 16-3. This was November 11th, 2018. A beautiful Veterans Day tribute from Ryan Fitzpatrick. 29 for 41 for 406, no touchdowns and 2 picks.
Oh God!
I mean, that seems
gross.
almost mathematically just like how does that? It's like if you throw for 406 yards, it just seems like some pass in there accidentally should be a touchdown.
No, exactly. I remember seeing that. I was like, how does that even happen? I think it might have been the first time it's ever happened or something. But in this game, this game had just the passing offense. I mean, high octane, as it says here in the game cast. Rams outlast Chiefs 54-51 in high octane offensive showcase. It was. I was talking to Sam earlier. I think it's the best regular season game I've ever seen. It didn't go into overtime, which it almost did. It was like very close. It almost went into overtime, which would have been even better. But Mahomes finishes for 478 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Jared Goff, 413 for 4, also a rushing touchdown, so 5 total touchdowns. Not a lot of rushing, which is great. Tyreek Hill, 10 for 215 and 2. Travis Kelce, 10 for 127 and 1. Let's see, on the Rams side, Josh Reynolds, 1 touchdown, 6 for 80. Robert Woods, 4 for 72. Jared Everett, that kind of random tight end who burns you in fantasy if you start him, 3 for 49 and 2 touchdowns. Not as many gaudy receiving performances over on the Rams side. But Tyreek
ball around with Jared Goff, man. This wasn't a game just about fantasy. In real life, like the back and forth between these two teams. I mean, it was a great game. I myself ordered Sling TV for 1 week to get this game. Got it on Monday afternoon and canceled it. Monday or Tuesday morning at like 2:00 in the morning. Whenever this game ended, immediately canceled it because I don't get ESPN.
Pretty inspirational.
So it's 54-51.
How much I wanted to watch this game.
Yeah.
Can I tell you with my favorite dumb stat of this game?
Yes. Give it to me.
The quarterbacks combined for 10 touchdowns on the ground. 10 touchdowns in the air, 11 if you count Goff's running touchdown. And they turned the ball over a combined 7 times.
Wow.
Like,
that's crazy.
It was both gaudy.
Like crazy. A lot of sacks.
It was both gaudy and sloppy. Mahomes had 5 turnovers in this game, but he also had 6 touchdown passes. I mean, it's just peaks and valleys with every drive. It seems like.
Yeah, it was just pure entertainment.
He had 3 picks and 2 fumbles.
Correct. 2 fumbles lost.
Wow.
And Goff was sacked 5 times, and Mahomes was sacked 3 times. So there was like these random, like huge defensive plays, and also there was defensive touchdowns too in it too, which made it even.
I was
crazier.
Gonna say, how many? Let's see. So I'm looking here. There were 1, 2, 3. There were 3 defensive touchdowns. The same guy on the Rams scored 2 defensive touchdowns. So if you're in an IDP league and you had someone named Samson Abukum, congrats on having him that night.
That was
IDPs.
The Jeff Fisher Profile and Courage.
Yeah, it's the coach that really sticks to his guns. He doesn't. He blocks out all advice, and he just goes with his gut, even though it is wrong as can be. He sticks with it, and he doesn't listen to anybody else, and he ends up looking like an idiot.
Yeah, and that was Jeff Fisher to a T.
I'm gonna get on the dais here, and I'm gonna give this award to somebody very deserving of it. I mean, he is the type of guy to go 1-32 over 2 seasons.
No, don't forget the tie. You got to put the tie in there.
Oh yeah, one. And you're right. It's 31-1. It's the type of guy to do this, and then say to the fans that he's got a lot of courage to stay with a team like this. That it takes a lot of work that most people wouldn't be able to do what he does. Because that is what one Mr. Hugh Jackson told the press at the end of 2017, that he deserved another year because of most coaches wouldn't be able to do what I did. And he's right. Most coaches wouldn't be able to do what Mr. Hugh Jackson did. But then again, most coaches wouldn't be able to do what Hugh Jackson did and leave their their top rookie pick, the number 1 pick in the draft. They would leave him on the bench and not even consider starting him throughout the summer, throughout preseason, and throughout the first games of the regular season until they were forced to. And what do you know? The Browns start winning after that. And Mr. Hugh Jackson, would you please come up, accept this award? You are the Jeff Fisher Profile and Courage winner this year. You absolutely deserve this. And if you ever, and I mean ever, coach another football game again, it will be way too early. So come here, accept your award, and get the hell off my stage.
Wow, that was
right claps.
That was heartwarming, inspirational words from Kempster.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Sam?
No, I think he covered that pretty well.
I think he kind of covered it all. He kind of put a little bow on it there at the end too. All right, get the fuck off the stage, Hugh Jackson. Let me kick you. I'm gonna drop kick you right in the ass. All right, so the next one is the Golden Grundle. Okay, this is
wait. Can I throw in my Fisher award real fast?
Oh, sure. I thought my bad. I thought you were gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So
profiles and courage. John F. Kennedy, Jeff Fisher, 2 guys. Both their names start with J. What are the other similarities? They're both human men, Americans.
Humans. Yeah.
I'm giving this award, ironically, to the current coach of the Titans, off of what can only be described as a putrid coaching tree. That would be Mike Vrabel. Congrats, Mike Vrabel, on randomly realizing throughout the year that you had a really good water bug and also occasionally Bo Jackson on your team and Derrick Henry. And then, having Marcus Mariota, who played in an extremely up-tempo offense in college, and being like, you know what? Why don't we just have him be a game manager and loft the ball up in the air, 17 times a game into double coverage. So, Mike Vrabel, congrats on continuing the tradition of Mike Mularkey. I don't know if we just need to get out of the pattern of getting guys named Mike. Mike Munchak was the coach before Mike Mularkey on the Titans, I believe.
Mikes.
So, yeah, mini Mikes. More Mikes than Mike and Mike.
Yeah.
So many Mikes.
I want to piggyback on that a little bit because
I will say this is a controversial one. This is a controversial pick.
Well, let me just say really fast, Kim, and I'll cede the floor to you. Matt LaFleur, the current Green Bay Packers head coach, just hired.
Yeah.
Fresh-faced lad, just hired.
Good.
little bit of a controversial pick there, and Sam, you can talk about that more than I can. But I criminally underutilized Deion Lewis's skill set. Gave him the ball, directed him to just run up the middle over and over and over again. Whenever they ran any sort of screen, any kind of sweep play, any kind of like creative short pass, they always had big chunk gains with Deion. But they decided just to keep running him up the middle over and over and over again. It drove me absolutely insane. And then when he's hired by Green Bay, everyone was saying this guy was a offensive mastermind. He's going to turn Aaron Rodgers into 1998 Steve Young or something. We'll see what happens. That remains to be seen. But I just want to throw his name on there too, Matt LaFleur. You really stressed me out with Deion Lewis this year, so I was not happy about that. Now, Kemp or Sam, do you want to talk more about Matt LaFleur, or Kemp, do you want to address Mike Vrabel comments? Or
I mean,
well, can I just say real fast? I thought Lewis was considered for his size to be pretty good between the tackles, was he not?
Oh yeah, he is. Well, Tennessee lost like all their parts of the year. I mean, at one part in the year, they were starting their backup
cut out
to the
for me there,
backup.
Kemp.
What?
Yeah, you cut out first when you in the middle of that for me.
Oh well, at one point in the season this year, they were at both tackle positions. They were starting their third string.
Really?
Right and left tackle. Like their offensive line didn't really get into become healthy until the latter half of the season. So I mean,
still kind of bad then.
Yeah. We're gonna give Mike Vrabel a pass on this year.
Nah, I don't know about that.
No, he doesn't get a pass from me. Congrats, Mike Vrabel. You are the Profile Encourage, the Jeff Fisher Award. Mike Vrabel, Jeff Fisher. Put those names together. Inextricably,
Hugh Jackson and Mike Vrabel are holding,
they're
raising their hands up together in triumph right now on the stage.
No.
Cool. I was going to say Abbott and Costello, Martin and Lewis, Key and Peele, Vrabel.
I don't see that at all. I think Mike Vrabel, sit down. We'll take this. This is another one we're gonna discuss before we
come up.
Just hand it out willy nilly. Before we converse on this.
Compliments.
All right. We have Hugh Jackson. We don't need to oversaturate the market with these Profile Encourage Coach Awards.
Mike, great job with Blaine Gabbert in Week 17.
The Golden Grundle, fantasy's biggest bust.
I think, this guy guaranteed double-digit touchdowns, guaranteed. Yeah, I'll pay $35 for this guy. He's good. He's so good. He's not even 30 years old, right? It's fine. He has a good offense, good quarterback, good offensive system. He likes to party, to go to the Belmont Stakes and cheer for a horse that is named for him. And then in the middle of the stretch, when the horse is clearly losing by 5 lengths, say, quote, he's going to win, but he's clearly not going to win, which should have been a tip-off, by the way, for the kind of season that Rob Gronkowski was going to have.
Who could have known? Who could have known?
Gronk, 47 catches, and this is a typo, I think, guys, but this says he had 64 total yards in the season receiving. Is that right?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's 682. I'm sorry. It could have been 64, though. You would have believed me, right? 47 for 682 and 3 touchdowns.
That's gross.
Let's play a game.
The funny thing is,
how many games did Rob Gronkowski have over 50 yards receiving this year? Kemp, you sound like Snoopy crying in The Great Pumpkin.
I'm fine. I'm not crying at all.
But the
Nobody
crazy
could
thing
have
is,
known that. I mean, nobody saw this one coming. Came out of nowhere, and he got hurt. He got hurt. It was just one of those things. It was a fluke accident. He got hurt. He hurt his back, and he hasn't been able to recover. Give him 2019. He's got another year.
Mm-hmm.
Don't cut him.
Does he though? Does he?
No, he'll definitely be healthier next year.
Yeah, I hope he stays with the Patriots.
Is he going to retire?
Well, he's got a $10.5 million cap hit. So I mean, the thinking is the Patriots aren't going to keep him at that number.
The good thing is that
crying really fast.
Well, I'm starting to collect myself here, but because
okay.
I've got my.
He doesn't have any chronic injuries that he has to deal with. That's the thing. He can kind of come back.
That's true.
Clean slate, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't have any nagging injuries.
This is that moment. The Rob Gronkowski season this year was that moment in Terminator 2 where Arnold, who kind of doubles as a Rob Gronkowski machine type, has to get dipped into the lava, and he holds his thumbs up, and you just know it's the end, and it's really sad to see this man go. Because we all cried like babies then at the end of Terminator 2.
Yeah,
and
I did.
I think we've seen the same thing here. Yeah, I mean,
I teared up. I was laughing though about Gronkowski. That was weird. I was laughing. I was crying because I was laughing so hard. Kind of weird. But do you remember that Miami Dolphins game when he was lumbering? He was playing for some fucking reason that nobody can figure out. He was playing strong safety. The last play of that game against Miami, it wasn't like it was a Hail Mary or anything.
This was one of those times where Bill Belichick tries to outthink himself. It's similar to when he benched Malcolm Butler for the whole Super Bowl. It was one of those lapses in judgment.
I mean, when I see Gronk though, I think Ronnie Lott. Put that guy back there.
Well, Bill Belichick idiotically thought that he needed the hands team in there.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. That was so weird. That was just strange seeing him lumbering down and then falling on his face. I hate to laugh, but it just was because you're talking about a man who's severely injured. This guy, he should not be running like that in open field. He should be sitting in a nice, comfy chair and letting his body just heal. Instead, he's out there breaking his back.
He had a good game that game. He had a good game.
He did,
and
actually.
The image of Rob Gronkowski versus the Miami Dolphins, it's the game where he's lunging to tackle Kenyon Drake.
Tackled him.
That's the lasting image everybody will have. Nobody will remember the 8 catches for 107 yards and a touchdown. Nobody will care. They're all going to remember him lunging on the ground like that. Yeah, you're right. It's so sad.
God.
And it's so true. There's no disputing what happened in that game or about his year this year. It just was failure in all respects.
2019, let's get it.
Yeah. Samuel, anybody you want to touch on here briefly?
No, I just did. I gave that was.
Yeah, you gave the floor to him. So if it's my
sorry
point,
about that. Double down. Hipster?
Yeah. So just as
I mean. Chris
just as Sam can do a
award, but
yeah, just as Sam can do one of these awards and give it to the top tight end, I also have one. I mean, the top rated player at his position, and I mean, he really let his fans down. Not just with his play on the field, which was abysmal, but also in his attitude, which sucked. It was a shitty attitude from week one, and it just got worse from there. I was sick of it. Pundits were sick of it. The cognoscenti were sick of it. And I think one person that embodies this award for 2018 has to be Aaron Rodgers. Just where do you start with this guy? An inability to complete drives. He loves to shift blame to others.
Hey, how many touchdowns did he have?
He can never win the big game. Sam, please
How
do
many
not
touchdowns?
interrupt
How many
here.
touchdowns did he have? No, I just want to see because I'm looking at it.
His
I'm seeing
backyard
that
style
he had
QBing
25
is built for failure.
touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
He is becoming
Is that right?
Brett Favre right before our eyes.
Mm.
He dinks around at the line of scrimmage.
Hall of Famer.
What
Brett
is with
Favre,
him?
by the way?
With the hard counts, the showboating, the bleeding the clock for no fucking reason. He's unprepared. He needs to be ready to go and have a goddamn play ready. All right, stop with the goddamn audibles. And he gagged on that Thursday night game versus Seattle. He gagged, and this is a microcosm of his entire season. He was 3 for 11 on third down that night. 3 for 11, and that's what he was all season. All right, he's 1 in 38 when he's down in the fourth quarter. All right, he's tied
this doesn't
for
really sound like it
84th
fits the
for
award at
fourth-quarter
all. It just
comebacks.
sounds like
He's
he
got a
needs to get
losing
this
road
off his chest.
record. All right. All right.
Cam, did he steal your lunch money one time? Did he get transferred to Baton Rouge?
I am
did he,
so sick.
Did he bully you?
No, hold on.
Younger?
Let's be clear here. I am an Aaron
He
Rodgers
was
fan.
in our grade, so it's technically possible he could have bullied him.
Look,
I transferred out of Baton Rouge.
Yeah, no, I want Aaron Rodgers to succeed. Don't get me wrong. I am an Aaron Rodgers fan. I want to see him succeed.
I don't
want
think
to
I
see him
believe
do
you.
good.
I don't think I believe that.
I want to see him succeed, but he's not going to succeed like this, Aaron. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I like the person that I am? And inevitably the answer will come back as no. Because nobody likes a person
Am I
like
good
you.
enough? Am I smart enough?
Yeah.
A know-it-all is what he is. And so I think he wins this award going away. All right.
Well, you do get a vote. So there you go. You choose Aaron Rodgers. I will say,
come up. Aaron Rodgers has already accepted this award.
You kind of turned briefly there into like Nancy Grace for a second.
Yeah.
That
got a little shrill.
Hey, don't give me that bullshit. That is bullshit. I am calling them like I see them. Yeah, I get a little emotional when I see players that I love, that aren't acting the way they should, aren't acting like leaders. I'm gonna get a little emotional.
Yeah.
So
I will say I had Aaron Rodgers.
I just want you to do
better. I spent a lot of money
Aaron.
on him in fantasy. He was a little bit of a letdown. He was consistent. He had a really nice floor. But he didn't have those like huge Aaron Rodgers blow up games until the very end of the season. But
Week 16.
I wouldn't call
Mohamed
him
Sanu of quarterbacks this year.
I would not call him a what?
The Mohamed Sanu of quarterbacks.
Oh, that's a good reference.
Mohamed Sanu at one point had a perfect passer rating, so that's a compliment.
That's true, he did.
I know. Look how many fantasy points Mohamed Sanu would give you.
Congratulations!
That's what he did.
Congratulations on owning yourself there.
That wasn't an own.
All right. Well, anyway,
I didn't pick Mohamed Sanu out of the blue. I knew he had a perfect passer rating, or he did really be like through touchdowns or whatever. But it's like it'll give you 10 points.
The Marty Funkhauser Fantasy Scene Stealer Award
for the player that you wouldn't expect to have a big game and then would, or the player that consistently kind of just put up points, helped you win, but was kind of unassuming and kind of under the radar.
Robert Woods, great job. You did an awesome job. But I think he's going to have to come in slightly second to one Tyler Boyd, because I think this year the talk was on AJ Green and the emergence of John Ross in his second year. Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? And at the end of the day, at the end of the season, who is it but Tyler Boyd coming out and establishing himself as as the go-to weapon in the passing game for the Bengals.
Consistent, too.
I think he did a great job, and I mean he's an excellent slot receiver. There's not much more to say about Tyler Boyd other than like he even showed up AJ Green
Well,
on
that's
multiple
great.
occasions.
You don't have to say anything else then. That's perfect. Sam, what about you?
Well, if I could just say real fast as I'm looking up my award, I think my favorite all-time Funkhauser plot line is when he has a nephew who Larry hurts his arm when he's a pitcher, and the nephew thus cannot engage in self-gratification. So Larry helps hire a prostitute, and then the kid falls in love with the prostitute and chases her to Spain, and then dies in the running of the bulls. That's probably my favorite Funkhauser plot line. So R.I.P. Marty.
Oh God, R.I.P. What a good character.
Great character, great voice. Just a great man all around. Just a huge loss. I don't know.
Yeah.
The voice and the timing and the delivery, it's all just incredible. I don't know if you guys have ever have listened to the Cousin Sal gambling podcast with Super Dave and Bill Simmons from like a year or two ago, but it is one of the in the last 5 years, it's one of the 2 or 3 funniest podcasts I've ever listened to. It's incredible. It's just so good. He's just like, he constantly was making me laugh out loud listening to it. But
the Norm Macdonald one too. There's the Norm Macdonald podcast with Funkhauser. That's also really funny.
Which I'm sure is good. But Tyler Boyd was a good one, Kemp. I'm going back to the well in the AFC South, and I'm going to take the December and specifically the playoff version of Derrick Henry to be the scene stealer.
Oh my God.
Derrick Henry, Week 14, quarterfinals, first round of most people's playoffs. 17 carries, 238 yards, 4 touchdowns, including a 99-yard touchdown where he was basically punching people, defending like a heavyweight title down the field, like throwing punches at Jaguars players legally. The next week he had 33 carries for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Damn.
The following week he had 21 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown. These 4 weeks total he had, let's see, let me add this up real fast. 7 rushing touchdowns total and basically 500 yards rushing. His receiving totals, he had 3 total targets and 3 receptions for a total of 21 yards. So just an old school, just grind it out, give it to the guy, and let him just sort of pound up the middle or to the edge. To that point in the season had done, I wouldn't say poorly, but okay. Definitely not good.
Not
Very
great.
much
Not
okay.
great.
No, not great. Not a receiving threat at all. Very sporadic in terms of his the number of carries he would get. Shout out Mike Vrabel for not having any idea what kind of players you have on your team. So yeah, Derrick Henry, the first annual Funkhauser. Marty, we're gonna miss you, but I think you'd be proud of this pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick about Derrick Henry, 1,059 yards over 2018. Over 50% of that was in the last 4 games.
By the way, speaking of the Braylon Edwards Don't Take the Bait award,
51 fantasy points in that 4 touchdown explosion as well.
I was how did none of us pick this guy for Don't Take the Bait?
Well, aren't we? I thought we made an award specially for him, the Jerome Harrison Award.
Yeah,
we kind of cut that award.
Yeah,
sorry.
That award.
I think we renamed it.
Was cut for time.
No.
Well, no, we could have said Derrick Henry for the Don't Take the Bait. We could have said him. I mean, that would have been totally fine. We just chose other people.
I don't know. I
chose
kind of want
Melvin
that bait
Gordon.
now. I mean, look what he's done. He looks awesome.
I
No,
know.
I
last
agree.
4
Actually,
weeks.
no, I agree. You should pay $34 for him next year.
I might do it.
He might go. He actually might go higher than that. I wouldn't pay for it.
Kemp, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. I don't think you can. I don't think you got the balls.
Oh, stop it. I got the balls.
Wow.
If anybody's got the balls, I got the balls.
Hey, I got the balls. Maybe
You don't
you
have the
don't
balls,
want to
Chris.
select him though.
Yeah, well,
Speaking of balls and bathroom humor and shit. The next award is
What a segue.
The LeGarrette Blumpkin, fantasy's biggest vulture.
the LeGarrette Blumpkin. Fantasy.
Can you read that to me one more time? What's it called?
The LeGarrette Blumpkin. A Blumpkin,
interesting.
folks.
Yeah.
Fantasy's biggest vulture.
Mm.
Now, we already touched on actually, I think, all the guys that we had talked about for this, Sam.
Yeah.
We've already touched on James Devlin. Kemp, do you have anybody here that you were just? I know you have somebody that you hated for many years back, for many years now. But is there anybody this year who you were just angry about who vultured your touchdowns on your team, or that you notice elsewhere in the league who did that?
well, I mean, to be honest, it is LeGarrette Blunt. As a Kerryon Johnson owner, it infuriated me when
That was
LeGarrette
my
Blunt
pick.
would
pick Blunt,
vulture every fucking time they got inside the 5-yard line.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So
Kerryon
just
Johnson
review.
would go take that offense to the 5-yard line, and then they'd put in
Yeah,
Kerryon
Kemp.
Johnson, or then they would put
Kemp,
in
just-
LeGarrette Blunt.
Just to
But
review,
if I
who
have
gets
to pick
who
somebody
gets
else,
who gets the LeGarrette Blumpkin?
LeGarrette Blunt.
Okay.
LeGarrette Blumpkin
Interesting.
gets it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a shoo-in for this. But if you have to pick a runner-up, I'd have to go probably Latavius Murray.
Ooh, that's a good one.
yeah.
Didn't think about that.
You know, I think that he's somebody that always seemed to vulture touches, especially in
sorry.
the end zone.
I'm sorry. I'm
but-
sorry. Latavius Murray was vulturing from whom exactly when he was the starting running back?
Well,
I
and
wouldn't
that's
think
another
about that.
thing. Like, I mean, if we're talking Blumpkin, you know, he would be one of those types that you didn't put into your lineup, especially your DFS lineup, and he would go nuts. He would blow up. You're like, oh
Well, he's
man,
naturally-
so you gotta
he's
put him
naturally
in
pretty
the
talented,
next
so-
week.
Eh.
And he
Sounds
would do
like
jack
it's kind
shit.
of a you problem.
Yeah, he wouldn't do anything. So you're like, oh well, fuck.
Mm.
So Latavius Murray can go eat a dick. Pick up
Wow.
your award,
Whoa,
please.
whoa. Ugh. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
You know,
that's what I
I
got.
mean,
Delicious. With
But,
hot
but,
sauce?
I
but
could
you know what?
barbecue sauce?
Latavius Murray is second to LeGarrette Blunt because LeGarrette Blunt screwed me over countless times this season.
hmm
That's what I was saying. It's more of a legacy award.
Yeah.
So he could win it almost every year he's in the league. It's kind of not fair at this point, because he kind of deserves it every single year.
Exactly.
Samuel? Anybody?
Yeah.
We've already touched on like 5 guys, so there's not that many left. But
Right. I mean, it's just so tempting to actually give it to LeGarrette Blunt. It's like
Yeah, he
watching.
deserves
It's
it.
like watching. It's like putting a vending machine on a dolly and just pushing it into a group of men. I actually think the vending machine probably would have gained more yards. I told you guys earlier, 2.7 yards a carry over 150 carries. That's a good way to get unemployed in the National Football League. Somehow he kept his job. I don't know what kind of blackmail he has on coaches or whomever, but LeGarrette Blunt, great job there.
yeah,
If I had
LeGarrette
to,
Blumpkin.
LeGarrette Blunt. If I had to pick a more kind of mainstream person who was drafted with a little more frequency, and by the way, I could fold over into this. This is someone I would say my worst call of the year was probably either Adam Thielen Devontae Adams, because I was wrong on both
Yeah.
those guys, but someone
Yeah.
who I
Yep.
definitely was
You
fading
were
hard, and who I would
very wrong.
definitely award a Blumpkin to would be Alex Collins. I mean, wow.
Oh,
You know,
God,
this
right,
guy, he has half of a good year, and then people lose their shit. He's RB16. Like, what? RB16? Right?
I forgot about
What is
that.
this,
Yeah.
what is this, 1996? Right? Like, he can't really catch the ball much. He kind of just runs into the line, and, oh, look,
They don't throw him
had
the
a
ball
good game
either.
against the Steelers.
Yeah, this is one I nailed. He was my pick for the Barely Sanders Award. Are we doing that one?
Sure, why not? Just throw it out. The Barely Sanders.
The Barely
Side award.
Sanders Award goes to Alex Collins. Come on up here.
Wait, can you explain what the meaning of Barely Sanders is?
The Barely Sanders Award goes to the most uninspiring running back in the league. And really, you know what, Alex? Bring your whole crew up here. All the Baltimore running backs, come up here for your Barely
But not
Sanders
Lamar. Lamar, you stay seated. Lamar, do not get up.
Yeah, Lamar, come up as
Lamar's
well.
not moving.
No,
Lamar's not moving,
no,
though.
Lamar, you
He's
stay
glaring
seated.
at you, Kim. He's glaring at you. That's
Oh, okay,
not weird.
Lamar, you can sit. Gus, come up here. Come on
Gus
up
had
here,
a good
buddy.
year. Gus had a pretty good year.
I mean,
I definitely think Kenneth
all right,
Dixon needs to come up.
2018 Alex Collins, or 2019 Alex Collins, Gus Edwards, otherwise known as Gus Edwards. Come on up here.
Well, they don't give their running backs any kind of like value. They basically just shuffle them up like they're nothing. I mean, they don't give them money. They don't give them any kind of job security. The Ravens.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So it's kind of it's kind of like the Bill Belichick.
Could we give kind of like could we give a sneaky LeGarrette Blumpkin? And by the way, I can't count guys who get hurt, but like a sneaky LeGarrette Blumpkin to like Jordan Howard maybe.
Sure.
Because he was drafted
like
as like an RB 12 or 13. He was drafted as like a high RB2, and he just did not come anywhere close to having that kind of consistency.
I think you would say Barely Sanders for him. He's not necessarily a vulture, but he's kind of like
he's a Barely Sanders.
But you can still call him a Blumpkin
nominee.
now if you want. He deserves it.
He's kind of a plotting Blumpkin to me.
He's calling him a Blumpkin. He's not a vulture technically, but we can just call him a Blumpkin anyway. I mean, Blumpkin can be anything you want.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's a good point.
It doesn't have to be a vulture. It can be anything. That was lovely. Let's go. Okay, this is our last award, gentlemen.
The Steve Largent Leather Diaper Award.
How many hours? How many days have we talked about this award? Countless hours, just talking constantly. A dialogue running for all through the night, into the morning, and then through the next day, and into the night, and into the next morning about this award. We poured over, I don't know, thousands of names, what we were going to call it.
I mean, the history of this award is a legion. All right, it goes back.
Yeah. It goes back generations.
Quite a ways.
Maybe before time itself, if you really think about it. And that's not really an exaggeration.
Yeah.
That's just facts. This award,
I would put it slightly above the Nobel Peace Prize.
Just slightly.
It is a good award.
I agree. It's a really good point, Sam. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Now, this award is named after a guy who was first in, first out. And he wore a hard hat to practice in team meetings.
He didn't come in football gear. It was a construction hat. It was overalls.
Yeah. They changed the rules for this guy. They changed the rules.
No shirt, but no shirt and no underwear.
He was born. Was he born from a tractor somehow? I don't know how that's possible.
I think his father is a tractor.
His father. That's right. That's what it was. His father was a machine. It was a tractor, and his mother was just a human woman.
His mother is Sarah Palin, and his father's a tractor.
Yeah,
exactly. So, without further ado, this award is a 2018 first annual Steve Largent Leather Diaper Award for the best, the grittiest slot receiver in the NFL for this particular season.
No, we don't want.
Okay.
We're not looking for a flashy diaper. We want like a salted the earth diaper.
And the diaper is made out of leather. It's made out of the leather of a boot, like a leather boot. So it's made from bootstrap leather, which is a certain type of leather, and it's awarded to
the underskin of a cow.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, just real cheap, but it's like you work it hard enough, you work it strong enough.
Potentially the actual part of football, like a pig bladder.
Yeah, it's just like you just gotta work it. You gotta get into that. You gotta get into the foundry or whatever it is to work leather, tannery. Right. And you really just gotta use all your muscles to work that into nice leather.
There's nothing flashy or me first, right, about the leather diaper. I mean, like, you're not going to see the leather diaper out on TMZ. You're not going to see the winner, throwing a ball at his quarterback's head the way that Antonio Brown did. Not that I'm bringing up Antonio Brown for any specific reason other than the fact that, he is just the first player I thought of, or Odell Beckham. But we agree, and it was named after Steve Largent.
These are classy guys. If you want to be
became
on
a Republican congressman from Oklahoma. Didn't he? Isn't that correct, Kemp?
Was he a congressman?
Yes,
Probably.
He was a congressman.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was he a senator or a congressman? I forget.
And I'll tell you who's not going to be. I'll tell you the kind of person who can be a congressman, if we can call back to the Browns-Bengals game. Steve Hyden.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's something more about him that seems like a congressman than a Chad Johnson or a T.J. Houshmandzadeh. And I can't really put my finger on it, guys, but I just think it has something to do. I think it has something to do.
That could just fit in with the Republican
I think it
Party.
has something to do with what you like in your diaper.
What kind of diaper you're wearing? Are you gonna wear a soft diaper, or are you gonna wear like a leather diaper? There's two different types of people in this world.
Right.
There's a soft diaper and there's a leather diaper. And,
right. No, I agree.
These guys are leather diapers.
Kemp, I think you should go first here.
Well,
yeah, Kemp.
I've been pouring over the stats and
And by the way, Kemp, sorry to interrupt you. Past winners have been Wes Welker. Actually, Wes Welker has won the award 7 years
numerous
ago.
times.
So go ahead, Kemp.
Danny Woodhead won this award retroactively.
Right.
I mean, we're not just talking about wide receivers.
Drew Bennett,
Kevin
Walter.
Yes.
Guys that display class.
John Beebe actually won this award, and then it was briefly named the BB, but then it went back to the leather diaper.
Yes, exactly.
Wayne Corbett was one of our winners there. I mean, just somebody that really stood out. Classy individual, displayed leadership.
The guy didn't even wear gloves.
I know.
He didn't wear gloves.
I know.
How cool? How leather diaper is that? How leather diaper is that?
This is one of those things that you have to respect the craft, gentlemen. And I think nobody embodies the leather diaper like Adam Thielen, who out of nowhere said, "Calvin Johnson, you think you're bad? You think you're bad? You ain't bad. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing." 8 straight games of 100 yards or more. I mean, just really, defenses did whatever they can to say, we don't need to guard this guy. Forces defensive coaches to say, all right, fine. We got to do something. We got to guard this guy now. We have to guard him. And
then when they started doing that, his production fell off. But we don't want to talk about that.
Hold on. I've got to get there.
How was he? Was he? What were the last 6 weeks like? Were they good?
I can raise my hand and say that we're not good.
Well, no, hey, let me. Yeah,
What
Still
I
deserves
call
a
him,
diaper.
I call him the service technician, right? He's
No,
a technician. He can run routes. He can also come in and he can get your Wi-Fi up to speed, like exactly how you want it. All rooms, like incredible connection. Just a really nice guy. He does
Yeah.
accept tips.
I mean,
Service technician.
well, let me just say that if he had a
Good.
competent quarterback,
Mm.
maybe who knows? Maybe he would have gotten 2,000 yards this year.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good point. Actually, I don't know about 2,000, but if he'd had, God, Kirk Cousins,
if only
we
he
could have
had
talked about
someone-
him for biggest bust. Honestly,
Yeah.
If only he
so
had
disappointing.
someone. I was gonna say, if
Very
only he had
disappointing.
someone who had outscored Tom Brady in fantasy points. All right.
But no,
wait,
Tom Brady was hurt this year. Okay, so let's not. I mean,
What? Oh, hold on.
we
Oh no.
I don't know why.
Oh.
Let me just say, the Tom
wow.
Brady Gold
Wow.
Star Award.
No.
They got
No.
cut
Play the
out, so
music.
Patrick Mahomes,
Cue
I'm sorry,
the
you don't
cello.
get this
Where's the
award.
cello?
Yeah, well,
No. Cut for time. Cut for time.
sorry, Pat.
So Kemp gives the leather diaper to Thielen. Simmons, who gets your leather diaper?
Oh God, so many candidates this year. A lot of guys who they said at the beginning of the year that's what they were going for was the leather diaper. They said that's what I'm shooting for this year. I want the leather diaper. I want to be that guy with the leather diaper on at the end of the year. This guy, he didn't have the gaudiest stats. He didn't have Thielen like lines necessarily. Some games he did. But this guy said, you want me to go over the middle? Yeah, I'll go over the middle. You want me to take a head-on collision hit and get a concussion and stay in the game and get another concussion after that and get like 3 concussions in a row and almost die in the field? He said, yeah, I'll do that. Thank you very much, sir. Please may I have another. And that guy's a little tiny guy by the name of Adam Humphries. Okay, this guy, he. sorry talking like this.
Adam Humphrey wins the leather diaper.
Listen,
it's a monumental upset. No, I love it. I love it. It's
he
like the year that Crash won
because you know what?
picture.
Nobody believed in him. Nobody believed in him. Okay.
No.
Everybody laughed at him. They said you're too small. You're too little. You're too svelte. You're too skinny. You can't make it in this league. And he said, you know what?
You're too Adam. They told him you're too Adam.
Yeah, he's like, your name's Adam, dude. Your name's Adam. And he said, I'm going to show you, asshole. And what did he do this year? 76 catches for 816 yards and 5 touchdowns. And now you might be like, come on, man. that's pathetic. It's not, okay, because you don't understand. This guy, he didn't have the volume that Adam Thielen had. But let me tell you, if he was put in like, a Wes Welker role on the Patriots, which he probably will, let's be real, he's going to play for the Patriots probably in like 3 years. He's going to catch 100 balls. He's going to take over for Julian Edelman. He's going to take over that role. He can produce like that. He's kind of like a favorite of mine. I'm not saying he completely deserves the award, but he is my Leather Diaper Award winner for 2018, Adam Humphries.
Wow. What was he competing? Who was he competing against if Adam Humphries won it? Griff Whalen?
Kemp, he's been competing. Griff Whalen.
I mean,
he's been competing in people his whole life. All right, nobody ever gave this guy a chance.
Sorry, gentlemen. I'm back from my wine cellar. I had to go to the wine cellar for a second. Get a nice red.
Well, I purposely ranted for a long time because I could sense.
No,
that,
I could hear you. I just put you on mute. I put you on mute. I could hear every word, every beautiful word about Adam Humphrey. Guys, in 2006 at the Oscars,
Adam Thielen just saw his leather diaper go down in value.
13 years ago, Crash won Best Picture when you had Good Night and Good Luck, Brokeback Mountain, Munich, several other Capote. You had several other very strong films nominated, and Crash won Best Picture. This is sort of a huge upset. Adam Humphries taking the dipe, seizing the dipe, kind of like when Crash won Best Picture. I respect
out of
it.
the hands of Julian Edelman, who really should have won it.
Mm-hmm.
But Julian's won it. Julian won it last year.
I was gonna say, unfastening it off of, ripping it off of the body.
He ripped it off of Julian's groin area, just like snatched it right off from under his nose. But Julian, just really quickly, I don't want to, I know you guys want to, Sam, I know you have somebody too you want to talk about, but Julian,
that's okay.
only 12 games. He had 74 catches for 850 yards and 6 touchdowns. Just so consistent every week. I was hearing on other podcasts that, he can't run routes anymore. He's lost a step. Like, I don't know what games people were watching. He looked just as fast as ever, just as quick. You take those stats that I just mentioned, you put him out for a 16-game season, 4 more games. He probably would get close to 100 catches, 1,200 yards, probably 10 touchdowns. I mean, it's a really nice fantasy season. So, but what can I say? I just wanted to shake it up a little bit. So
with Adam Humphries.
All right.
With Adam Humphries.
Yeah. So Samuel, what do you got?
The Riley Cooper Award goes to, I mean.
No, the Ryan Switzer Award. The Ryan Switzer.
Did you say Riley Cooper? Riley Cooper or Bradley Cooper?
Riley Cooper, because Riley Cooper.
I feel like Bradley Cooper could be in the running for a leather dipe too, though.
Riley Cooper?
No, Bradley Cooper. Put him in a slot receiver for the Pats. He would get at least 10 catches. Bradley Cooper?
You said Bradley Cooper?
He's probably 6 feet tall, right?
It's always hard to tell with the actors because they always make them look tall. Like Tom Cruise, I think, is like 4'11" or something.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is tiny, but I thought Bradley Cooper was pretty normal height.
He's
so
he's 6'1". He's 6'1".
My leather dipe goes to Trent Taylor. No, I'm just kidding. He fucking sucks. But Kim thought he was going to be good. No, my leather dipe goes to Cooper Kupp. What a guy! The Rams have gone downhill without him.
Yeah,
just,
that was
a
great
jawline that Ivan Drago would be proud of. Kind of just has that Teutonic feel. Really just a lot of grit. I think when an LA Times reporter asked him about his routine, he talked about all of the up downs, those sort of exercises he does, those old school exercises. And he talked about trying to kind of improve his core. And then for some reason, he just threw in the word mortadella, which is like a lunch meat, which I thought was kind of confusing. But that's part of his routine. Just Cooper Kupp, just a stand-up guy. The Rams got worse.
Of like trash meats that they just kind of put together.
Well, no, it's actually a very finely, highly regarded meat. But thank you, Kemp, for your input. I know with all of your Italian heritage, you wanted to weigh in on that.
Mortadella is the one with all the different colored meats, or is it? It's either that or spices. It's got that or spices.
And it's a delicacy. So why don't you stand down and shut your mouth?
The way
it's a large Italian sausage or luncheon meat made of finely hashed or ground heat-cured pork, which incorporates at least 15% small cubes of pork fat.
Okay.
I think it's like really high. It's like high-end bologna. It's like high-end bologna.
And again, where did I go wrong in describing Cooper Kupp?
Pretty good. He's a white angel of death. He is an excellent.
Cooper Kupp is some high-end 5-star Ritz-Carlton bologna. Okay. He
that's a good way to
is in the slot all the time. He catches the ball. Now, occasionally, he does, sever his knee ligaments and then he's out and you don't see him again. It's like he's disappeared. He might as well be a vanished person like DB Cooper, right? But like when he's healthy, what a player. Just amazing hands, a huge part of the Rams game plan, particularly in the red zone, a particularly memorable game against the Vikings on that Thursday night game where Cooper Kupp was just, I don't have the game log in front of me, but I know he was just ripping the Vikings apart. Cooper Kupp, right, my 2018 leather diaper, the thinking man's baloney, the mortadella of
Cooper high class baloney cup.
We could also call him Capicola. We could perhaps call him.
But I like the mortadella.
He had in that game he had 9 catches for 162 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was quite good.
Excellent selection.
Shining moment.
Because he got injured, I think that kind of eliminated him from the running for me. But I respect the pick. I think that's a great pick. So yeah, I mean Cooper, Adam, come get your awards. I mean, Adam.
Cooper, Adam, and Adam. Yeah.
Adam, just one Adam.
Yeah.
One Adam.
Adam and Adam. Both Adams were mentioned in that. In those.
Sounds like a high school golf team.
Just need a Cody in there.
Cole, you'll get it next year. Don't worry. You'll be signing with the Patriots in the offseason. You'll get it next year.
He probably will be, honestly.
Cole Beasley.
Oh, God. Or like Trey Quinn.
Ryan Switzer.
What about our
Ryan Switzer's waiting in the wings?
Trey Quinn.
What about our main man, Jeff Janis?
Yeah, I mean, Trey Quinn's going to follow in that line of great receivers like Edelman, Amendola, Brian Hartline, Jeff Janis.
And I read something. I think it was in one of the Packers beat reporters was talking about this because the Browns guys hadn't covered it yet. But I saw something that said that Janis, Camp, you may know more about this than I do. I saw something that said that Janis was taking the because it hadn't worked out and he couldn't really get up from the practice squad, that he was taking the Magic Mike route in his career.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Jeff Janis is one of those.
Wait, can you confirm?
That's a velvet diaper. It's a velvet diaper.
Why he gets the golden grundle. That asshole Aaron Rodgers. I'm a fan of his. I'm sorry. The golden grundle Aaron Rodgers is because he left Jeff Janis out in the lurch. But here's a tip for you. My man Matt LaFleur, where did he go to school? Saginaw Valley State. Where did Jeff Janis go to school? Yeah. Saginaw Valley State. So you best believe Jeff Janis is going to be making his return to Green Bay in 2019, and I cannot wait.
But why didn't Belichick pick him up, though, honestly? I really thought Belichick was going to grab him.
You would think he would. I mean, I guess he still could. Still could.
Yeah. I guess he still could, yeah. He's available. He's very, very, very,
but
very,
very,
I
think
available.
It's nice to know he's got this second career to fall back on. I think that's good for him,
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, this has been great, guys. I have to.
What a telecast!
The first annual Gaudies is in the books.
Gosh,
wow! This has been excellent.
Amazing.
All you award winners.
You're welcome to everybody out there. You're welcome. You're welcome.
And
if you got
the list of past winners of the leather diaper retroactively, I mean, we will be handing that out shortly. So look for it in the next couple days.
Yep.
If you want a list of past winners, please send your 16-digit credit card number to ckmp420@gmail.com.
Yes, please do. Make sure you include your expiration date and the
Yeah. And the
three-digit
little
SV
three-digit number. Yeah. Yeah.
But yes,
Gentlemen,
please do. I
that
will
was
give
fun.
you the list.
Good
That way
times.
you can predict for next year. But all right, guys.
Yes, motherfucker, it's time for the Gaudies. You little bitch. That's right, you son of a bitch. Listen to the Gaudy Stats podcast. The Gaudies are an end of the year award show on the Gaudy Stats pod. Yeah, listen to it right now, you son of a bitch. Fuck you. Gaudy Stats, it's the Gaudies. Gaudy Stats, it's the motherfucking Gaudy Stats, stats, all the time. You better like them, louder stats here now, yeah. Motherfucker, yeah. Fuck you, yeah. Motherfucker, eat a dick, oh yeah.